Let's take this idea to the next level. This idea of seeing your triads as destinations. So in my first example, I showed a really simple way to start fleshing out our triads, and I showed something, a pattern that more or less went like this. And if you watch what was happening there, it's basically just playing a triad tones and prefixing each with a leading tone behind it. So this idea of like connecting your triad tones with an idea doesn't have to be limited to just half steps behind. We can start mixing stuff up. For example, that was basically the same thing, more or less, in that I was playing the triadic tones on the downbeats, and in the backbeats I was either preceding that destination with a half step above or a half step below. Okay? You can do this, and I just did it. It's gonna sound like C major. It's gonna add color. But you'll notice I'm not thinking about, I'm not, stuck in a scale or a key mindset. I'm thinking more about different ways of like getting to those tones. And I'm kind of like throwing out the window, who cares what key it's in? I'm only landing on these notes temporarily to get to those powerful triadic tones, okay? So let me show you another example. Let's build on that, and let's use two notes instead of just one. I'm gonna watch this. So all that I did there was walk down two steps. Okay. See, that was the root, the 5. Okay. So I could do the same kind of thing. I could walk down and up like this. I could go. I'm playing in triplets right now, so it's like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and different ways of pattern of ways of approaching these chord tones. Look at this. Let's use 3. This, you've probably heard stuff like this before. I was just more or less doing the same thing, but in that case I was approaching it with 3 steps, some kind of a 3-step motif. Now in all those cases that I've just shown you, I'm kind of like doing this, I'm either walking up to it or I'm walking down. You can kind of use like any patterns you want, depending on what kind of like rhythmic feel you want. I think what's important is you're landing on, I say this, I'm trying to really hammer this in, is you want to land the chord tones on the downbeats. You want to emphasize the chord tones. and think of those as like those destinations you're landing on, and then you're off to some other destination. But that said, you know, like it doesn't have to be like a chromatic walk. You know, it can be a series. It can be a series of anything, really, as long as it creates some kind of a departure, right? A pathway towards that destination you're going towards. So let me show you a couple simple examples here of how you could take that concept and just elaborate further on it. So watch this. So I'm gonna go from the root to the third to the fifth to the third, back to the root. Okay, those are my destination points. So I'm gonna go did a little blem there, but all I've done is added like a three-note, basically a three-note motif, a half step behind it. Right? That's the, so 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. That's a musical idea. You know, that's very simple. You can see that, you know, if you wanted to use like sort of like a three-note approach, like you could even use like another triad, you know, or another kind of like another chord even. Look at this. Watch what's going on here. Let's try that again. I started noodling around a little bit here. So I use sort of like these three-note, like diminished shape in between each of those. You know, I know if I play this, it's always going to want to resolve to one of these triadic chord tones. I could have just have easily done something like in that case, I just used basically kind of like a seventh arpeggio, or as a way of moving to those chord tones. They're not in the key, but they set up that tone, right? I'll do one more. So I hope that you can kind of see what's happening here. There's a million ways when you start thinking in this manner. There's so many approaches you can use. just a simple motif, you know. This motif right here. 1, 2, 3. Come up with your own.